Are you tired of feeling overwhelmed by emotional drama in your relationships? Do you wish you could navigate complex feelings without losing yourself? This video will reveal the powerful secret to emotional resilience, helping you build stronger, healthier connections without the constant drain. Most people don't even realize when they are emotionally entangled. It feels normal. It feels like love, like caring, like devotion. But here's the truth. Emotional entanglement is not love. It's a silent saboteur that disguises itself as loyalty, as kindness, as commitment. But underneath, it drains you, erodes your boundaries, and chips away at your self-worth. Think about it. Do you constantly worry about someone else's feelings over your own? Do you catch yourself replaying arguments in your head long after they're over? Do you feel responsible for someone else's happiness, as if it's your job to keep them okay? If you answered yes, you're not being empathetic and you're entangled. Here's the difference. Empathy is when you can feel someone's pain but still remember where you end and they begin. Entanglement is when you lose track of that boundary. Their storm becomes your storm. Their moods dictate your moods. Their chaos becomes your normal. And this is dangerous. Why? Because when you give away your emotional center, you lose yourself. Imagine your life force as a reservoir of water. Every day you need that water for your goals, your dreams, your health, your peace of mind. But emotional entanglement is like having tiny, invisible straws stuck in your reservoir. One straw for the person who manipulates you. Another straw for the one who guilt trips you. Another for the one who treats your love like it's disposable. Drop by drop, your reservoir is drained. Until one day you wake up, exhausted, hollow, and resentful. And here's the kicker. When you're drained, you're not even able to show up as your best self for your partner, your friends, your work, or even yourself. That's why so many people stuck in entangled relationships describe themselves as burnt out, confused, like they're losing their edge, or even worse, like they've forgotten who they are. One of the most common traps of emotional entanglement is the savior complex. This is when you think, if I can just fix them, if I can just heal them, then they'll finally love me the way I deserve. But here's the brutal truth. You cannot save someone who doesn't want to be saved. And every ounce of energy you pour into saving someone else's energy you are stealing from your own growth, your own healing, your own destiny. Think of it like this. If you're carrying someone on your back up a mountain, you're not climbing, you're crawling. And when you finally collapse, they won't thank you. They'll just look for someone else to carry them. Another form of entanglement is the people-pleaser trap. This is when you've been conditioned, maybe from childhood, to believe that your worth depends on how useful you are to others. So you say yes when your whole soul is screaming no. You bend, you shrink, you swallow your truth, all to avoid conflict. But here's what nobody tells you. Every time you say yes to someone else while betraying yourself, you're not keeping the peace and you're waging war inside. This inner war shows up as anxiety, overthinking, lack of sleep, even physical symptoms like fatigue and tension. And the saddest part? The very people you bend over backwards for rarely value it, because respect is never earned through self-abandonment. Let's talk about another sign of entanglement, the overthinking loop. You know it well. Replaying arguments in your head, wondering, did I say the wrong thing? Obsessing over how they'll react to your next text, planning and replanning conversations that haven't even happened yet. This loop is exhausting, and here's the psychological truth. When your mind is trapped in this cycle, your nervous system is stuck in fight or flight mode. You're not living, you're bracing. And life in a constant state of bracing is not life at all. It's survival. So how do you know if you're truly entangled? Here's the ultimate test. How do you feel when you're alone versus when you're with them? If you feel lighter, calmer, and more at peace when they're not around, and that's a red flag. Because love, true love, should feel like coming home, not like walking on glass. So far, we've uncovered the hidden dangers of emotional entanglement. The invisible threads that drain you, the savior complex, the people-pleaser trap, and the exhausting loop of overthinking. But awareness alone is not enough. Now we need to talk about the antidote, the fortress you must build if you want to protect your mind, your heart, and your future. That fortress is emotional boundaries. Let's get one thing clear. Boundaries are not walls. They are not about shutting people out. They are about protecting your peace. Think of boundaries as the invisible fence around your inner garden. Inside that garden is your peace of mind, your self-respect, your dreams, your energy. If you don't protect it, Weeds and trespassers will take over. So how do you build this fortress? Step 1. Saying no without guilt. The word no is one of the most powerful tools in your arsenal. Yet so many of us treat it like a weapon of mass destruction. We think, if I say no, they'll leave me. If I say no, they'll be angry. If I say no, I'll be alone. But here's the truth, every no to them is a yes to yourself. When you start practicing this, you'll notice something powerful. The wrong people, the manipulators, the users, the ones who only valued you for your compliance, will start falling away. The right people, the ones who respect you, who value your authenticity, will lean in closer. That's the paradox of boundaries. They don't push away love. They filter out the imposters. Step 2. The emotional thermometer. Here's a technique I call the emotional thermometer. Every time you're with someone, check your inner temperature. Ask yourself, do I feel lighter or heavier after being around them? Do I feel energized or drained? Do I feel more like myself or less? If your temperature keeps dropping every time you're with someone, that's not connection, that's extraction. And when you learn to track your inner thermometer, you'll start to see the patterns of who feeds your spirit and who feeds off it. Step 3. Creating non-negotiable me time. Another essential part of your fortress is me time. Not the leftover scraps of your day, not the 15 minutes before bed when you're half asleep, but sacred, scheduled, non-negotiable time just for you. This could be an hour in the morning where you read, meditate, or train, a weekly ritual where you journal, hike, or paint, even just a walk without your phone to reconnect with your own thoughts. Here's the key. Treat it like an appointment with your soul. And like any important appointment, you don't cancel it for just anyone. Because if you don't refill your own cup, you'll always be running on empty, pouring out for others while starving yourself. Now that we've built the fortress, let's talk about the art of detachment. Because boundaries keep the wrong energy out, but detachment keeps your own energy balanced inside. Strategy 1. Mindful observation, not absorption. When someone you care about is angry, sad, or chaotic, your instinct might be to absorb their emotions, to mirror their storm. But detachment means shifting from absorption to observation. Picture this. Instead of diving into the raging river of their emotions, you're standing on the riverbank watching the current flow. You still see it, you still care, but you're not drowning in it. That simple shift protects your nervous system from being hijacked. Strategy 2. The thought reframe technique. Your thoughts create your emotions. So when you get caught in an entangled loop, use thought reframing. Example, instead of, she's upset, so I must have failed, reframe to, she's upset, but her emotions are her responsibility. My worth doesn't depend on her mood. Instead of, if I don't fix this, he'll leave me. Reframe to, if he leaves because I won't betray myself, he was never truly mine. Each reframe is a step away from entanglement and a step towards sovereignty. Strategy 3. Redirecting energy to growth. Here's the secret that breaks the cycle. Take the energy you pour into others and reinvest it into yourself. When you stop obsessing over what they think, how they feel, or whether they'll approve, you suddenly free up enormous mental bandwidth. That's when you can start the business you've been dreaming about, learn the skill you've been putting off, get your body in peak shape, or simply rediscover hobbies and passions that make you feel alive. Detachment doesn't mean giving less to life. It means giving more to the life that is actually yours. Now let's address a myth. Detachment is not coldness. It's not indifference. In fact, true detachment makes love stronger. Why? Because genuine love is not about losing yourself in another person. It's about two whole individuals choosing each other freely. When you are detached, you don't need constant validation, so your presence feels lighter. You don't suffocate your partner with neediness so they can breathe. You don't demand they complete you because you are already whole. And ironically, this makes you more attractive, more magnetic, more unforgettable, because the energy of someone who doesn't need anything from you is irresistible. So far, we've built your fortress. We've learned detachment strategies, and we've seen how it creates healthier, stronger connections. But this journey doesn't end with better relationships. The true reward of detachment is far greater. It's not just about surviving toxic ties. It's about stepping into a version of yourself that is powerful, sovereign, and free. And in the final part of this video, we'll talk about how detachment transforms your life from the inside out. When most people think about detachment, they think about loss. They think, when if I detach, I'll lose love. I'll lose connection. I'll lose passion. But here's the paradox. What you actually lose is the false version of love. The one built on fear, control, and self-betrayal. And what you gain? Peace, clarity, freedom, and the kind of love that is chosen, not forced. Because when you are no longer bound by invisible chains of entanglement, you stop being a prisoner of other people's moods. You reclaim the steering wheel of your own life. Let's go deeper. When you master detachment, you don't just change your relationships. You change the way you show up in every arena of life. At work, you stop over-explaining, stop shrinking, stop trying to please everyone, and suddenly people respect you more. In friendships, you stop tolerating one-sided connections and find yourself surrounded by people who actually value you. In love, you stop chasing validation and instead attract partners who meet you at your level. Your energy becomes different. You carry yourself differently, and the world cannot help but respond, because people can feel when someone is grounded, rooted, and whole. Here's the ultimate truth. Detachment is not about becoming less human. It's about becoming more authentically human. When you detach from entanglement, you stop living as a mask, the mask of the pleaser, the rescuer, the perfect partner, and you begin living as yourself. Flawed, imperfect, real, no, but free. And this authenticity is magnetic, because people are not truly drawn to perfection. They are drawn to truth. And the most powerful truth you can embody is, I am enough as I am. I will not betray myself to keep you. If you stay, it will be because you choose the real me, not the mask. Now you might be wondering, how do I keep this alive? How do I stop slipping back into old entanglements? The answer, daily practice. Here are some rituals you can start today. Morning check-in. Before you touch your phone, ask yourself, what do I need today to protect my peace? Journal prompts. Write down moments where you bent for approval. Then rewrite how you could respond from strength. Micro boundaries, start small. Say no to a text you don't want to answer right now. Decline an invitation that doesn't serve you. Mindful detachment. When emotions rise, pause, breathe. Watch them like clouds drifting, instead of storms dragging you under. Celebrate sovereignty. Every time you choose yourself without guilt, mark it down. Over time, these victories reshape your identity. Remember, detachment is not a one-time switch. It's a muscle. The more you train it, the stronger it gets. Now let's address the fear. If I detach, will I become cold? Will I push people away? The answer is no. In fact, detachment makes your relationships healthier. Because now, you give love freely, not desperately. You receive love openly, not anxiously. You stay present instead of spiraling into overthinking. The result? Deeper intimacy, stronger respect, unbreakable connection. And here's the irony. People will often say you feel more loving once you detach, because your love is no longer poisoned by fear or need. So what does life look like once you master the art of detachment? It looks like walking into a room with calm confidence, not frantic energy, saying no without apology and yes with your whole heart, building connections that are grounded in truth, not illusion, loving deeply but never at the cost of your soul. It looks like becoming a person who is free, authentic, sovereign. And here's the most powerful part. When you live this way, you don't just change your own life. You become a mirror for others. You inspire them to break their own chains. Your detachment becomes their permission slip to live authentically too. So let me leave you with this. Detachment is not the death of love. It is the birth of real love. Not the kind that chains you, not the kind that drains you, but the kind that flows freely between two whole sovereign souls. When you master the art of detachment, you will not only survive the toxic ties of emotional entanglement, you will thrive in a way you never thought possible. Because the greatest freedom is not walking away from others, it's walking back to yourself.